Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity, where we are at a tanner's. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, stealing that, getting things out of that would be stealing, but we're going to look into it. Adra and gold scaling. What are you doing with Adra? Dyes fill the wooden vats, the smell of dung and plant matter. Yep. I'm not one for chit-chat, elf. Elf? Oh, that's because it's me, not Eater. Speak to Tyrgol if you've got questions. Oh, we
I
don't
can do that.
stay on my private quarters. That goes for you and Harlan's bootlickers. Seriously. That sounds interesting. Ciphers use focus to power their abilities and gain additional focus by causing damage with weapons while their soul whip is active. Soul whip turns off once a cipher's focus is full. Oh, it's not an actual whip. I wanted an actual whip. Wah, wah, wah. Okay. Oh, those are brown leaves. Okay. So there's the Deerford Mill. There's the Dracogen Inn. Let's go to the mill because it seems to be the smaller location. Oh, here goes Curry. Blah, 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 blah. She's been missing for days. You people can't keep stonewalling us. Of all the places that girl to get lost, why'd she have to do it here? Oh, I'll bet there's something tragic going on with that. Oh, I'm up north where I don't want to be. Let's go to fast mode and come down here. Woo! Run! I was playing around with Baldur's Gate yesterday. It turns out I don't have the enhanced version, so it's got the really old graphics. Intellect area affects area of effect and duration of abilities, and the will defense. It may also be used in conversations and scripted interactions when logic or reasoning are involved. What are my character's stats right now? Intellect is 15, not too shabby. Resolve is a wonderful 18, and Constitution 16, and Might is 15. Let's give me the magic item. Okay. Keep pressing Z. I don't know why I keep pressing Z. The mill slowly grinds away at a trowel of grain. It doesn't look that slow. We're not going to take it. I'm just looking to see what's in it. Rice. And grain. Have you been to Defiance Bay? I heard there's no Hollowborn there. You heard wrong. The Lord staying at the Dracogen has just about worn out his welcome. That Lord will have bigger problems if his guards keep pushing us around. When these lords have problems, they blame it on his kith. Typical. Ron's men already asked us about the girl. What more do they want? Most who pass through nowadays are refugees or bandits. Nyfre's pleasant enough, but once you get him talking... Really? Used to be a castle here. We tore it down during the Revolution. At least we're not under some tyrant like those poor sods in Gilded Vale. Ah, that's old news. They don't go out after dark anymore on account of that ogre. Roads are more dangerous than usual with that ogre about. You did hear about the ogre, didn't you? Ate all of Rumbald's pigs? Could've sworn I heard the ogre just outside my window last night. While you're in town, get some poultices from Hindina. The roads are dangerous these days. And back to the beginning. Wizards may only cast spells that are in their equipped grimoire, which I have been neglecting. Additional grimoires may be placed in the wizard's quick slots to switch in combat, but the wizard will be unable to access the new spells for several seconds. I have been neglecting the grimoire switching. I'll probably not end up doing much in that regard. I could end up looking at some of the spells I have and creating a list of different grimoires to figure out what kind of, for different situations. But, wish I could change the name of items. That would be nice. Okay, let's go to the inn. It's night. Let's go to the inn. Where's the entrance to the inn? This is a nice inn. Why does some hybrid think we'd take his daughter? We've got enough trouble as it is. Have Haran's soldiers been harassing you too? Sort of. That Lord okay keeps pushing us around. People who can afford to are fleeing to the cities where the legacy hasn't hit so hard. I think that's a matter of time. The ways in which your character interacts with people and dialogues, even the more subtle ones, will tend to coalesce into reputation. As your fame expands, some characters will interact with you differently as a result. Haran's men already asked us about the girl. What more do they want? I think that having an ogre nearby would scare off some of the brigands. You think? Waiting for his pleasant. Once you get him talking, you're drunk. Can't remember the last time we had a healthy birth in the village. Let's go back to normal mode. Turn off. No, I don't want to look at the map. I want to turn off fast mode. Thank you. So that they're moving at a normal speed. At least we're not under some tyrants like poor Sods in Gilded Vale. Yep. That Lord staying at the Dracogen? That... Oh, lovely. Sid.
I just want to find her. Surely even you can understand that.
A redhead stands by the spires, tuning her lute and plucking its strings. She hums snatches of a melody as she goes. First time at the Dracogen? Normally I'd have a song ready. But I haven't quite worked out the tune yet. I think that noise was from this guy. I'm writing some chants about the founding of this inn. Say, you interested in the story? I haven't finished the chants, but I could tell you about it all the same. Sure, let's have it. It was built in the time of Hadrit's rebellion. An Adair and Lady Thanu once had a keep here. One of the towers still stands, but the rest is said to be buried under the village. Oh, that can't be good. Anyway, she stuck to the side of the Empire, and a contingent of Duke Hadrit's Knights of the Crucible helped the farmers and colonists in the area turn her keep to rubble. Again, I'm having enough troubles with things buried under keeps myself. That can't be good. This inn was the first building that sprang up from the ruin, built with some of the same bricks the colonists had pulled from the Lady Thanu's castle, they say. Supposedly the quarterstaff of her chief wizard even got lost in the construction, mortared into a wall or nailed under a floorboard. Anyway, the inn was supposed to be a haven and meeting place while the locals built their new town. What do you mean supposed to be? Deerwoodens are an ordinary lot, and the more these new neighbors met, the more they argued. They realized they didn't agree on much besides ousting the old lord. The biggest divide was over the Glenfathans and the nearby ruins. Hadrit's knights and their supporters wanted to keep the peace, but a group of misfits with more anarchic leanings that had formed in the town wanted to go after the tribes the same way they'd gone after their lord. Soon the villagers were fighting with each other as much as with the Adarans. In the end, memories of the Broken Stone War and the War of Black Trees were fresh enough that the Duke's soldiers won the day. Most of the other villagers came around eventually, but some of the core troublemakers left to join the front lines of the War of Defiance, and others, I've heard, found their way into the Guided Compass, the most forward-looking of the Glenfathan tribes. I don't know if I believe that part myself, but it makes a good story. There's a portrait of one of the chief rabble-rousers and his rival in the peacekeeping faction. Someone's idea of a joke. I don't think they were particularly amused. Let me see about the Broken Stone War. This was the first major conflict between the original Adaran settlers and the Glenfathans. Happened 3 years into colonization when some farmers knocked over an Adra Minher that was part of an Gwithan ruin. The war didn't last long, but it spread quickly and claimed thousands. In the early weeks, most of the colonists didn't even realize there was a war going on until Glenfathan raiders hit their villages. There had been small, spontaneous skirmishes between the colonists and the locals before then, but this was organized, and it was the start of decades of violence between the colonists and the Glenfathans. As you can see, Deerwood's full of history, even little villages like this. What about the War of Black Trees? Started back in the colonial days, almost 30 years after the Broken Stone War. Even though isolated conflicts still broke out between the settlers and the Glenfathans, both sides had officially agreed to peace. Edrang Hadrit, Admeth's father, was Gref at the time. As part of a peace negotiations, he signed treaties prohibiting Adaran colonists from looting in Gwithan ruins. However, he'd been unable to outlaw the use of captured Glenfathans as slaves. What's a Gref? Gref is the governor of a colony and is subservient to the Adaran emperor. The early leaders of the Adaran colony in Deerwood, including Edrang and Admeth Hadrit, were Grefs. At the start of the War of Defiance, Admeth Hadrit declared himself Duke of an independent Deerwood rather than Gref of the Emperor's colony. It was the same term used for leaders of the newly independent Valian republics. Anyway, we haven't had a Gref since. Gref? Indeed. The taking of Glenfathan's slaves had continued to be a source of conflict. It came to a head when Imperial agents, aided by certain earls in the Deerwood, began looting the ruins again. See, the Empire had never actually agreed to Hadrit's treaties on the matter, and the recent succession of the Valiant Republics likely left them eager to weaken Hadrit's position. The looting sparked a brutal slave uprising and guerrilla campaign among the Glenfathans. Edrang Hadrit was too old to lead forces into battle, and so he sent his son Admeth. Admeth made a costly but effective decision that ended the war faster than anyone could have imagined. He burned the forest near the Iron River to keep the Glenfathan warbands from retreating. Thousands of Glenfathans died, and as Admeth repeated his scorched earth tactics in the following months, he wore down the remainder of their forces. To this day, over 150 years later, there are still sections of Deerwood where the trees are nothing but bare, charred trunks. I think we've seen bits of that past in The Awakening, way back when we got the keep from the crazy guy. I just want to find her. Sure,
We're decent folk, my lord. Perhaps you should leave and check the wilds.
What was that?
Gods keep you.
The innkeeper digs us inside a mug with a dirty rag. His eyes under his thick brows are tired but watchful. He gives you a quick nod as you approach the bar. Don't see many travelers these days. Something I can do for you? What was that exchange with that nobleman about? He looks up from polishing his tankard and glowers at the Lord. Folk round here is decent. They mind their own business. You want to stick your nose in it? Go talk to him yourself. Questions about Deerford. Have you seen an Orlan called Nyfre? Twitchy lady, that one. That's all you're going to tell me? Tell me about the village. Walk from one bridge to the next, you've seen it. We're quiet, hard-working folk, and we keep to ourselves and don't take to being pushed around. He glares at the well-dressed man standing off to the side. There used to be a castle here, built by some family of Adaran Thanes back when the Empire first came. Only one tower is still standing, that's part of Triggle's shop now. Sid the bard by the fire could spin you the yarn if you're so inclined. Who lives in Deerford? Not many anymore. Hard to keep people around when everyone here's birthing Hollowborn. Well, we got a few who stick around and do business. Tyrgirl's leather courier. Hindina crafts potions. Winford trades in general goods. Rumbald's a pig farmer, or was anyway. Tell me about Trigo. He's a curio. Treats leather and makes armor, and few other goods with it. Problem is, the smell of tallow and deer shit tends to put people off their food, and his shop's right next door. That is a problem. Why would you set up a tannery right next to the place where people eat? Lady's a clever hand with potions of poultices. Got herself into trouble with a nest of worms or so, I hear. Her cart's on the east end of town. Winfrith? Been around even longer than I have. Nice enough fellow, but never could find his way to the end of a sentence. In other words, he keeps talking and talking. Shop's across the square. Something happened to Rumbald's pigs, I take it? Damn ogre carried them off. Now he squeals more than his herd ever did, he said. He shrugs. It is rotten luck. Previous questions. Said you don't see many travelers. Of course not. Why would they come here? We got bandits on the road, an ogre in the forest, and yapping fool Rumbald will tell you. As that yapping fool Rumbald will tell you. Worse yet, hasn't been a healthy child born here in over a year. Most gift that come here is just passing through. About that ogre? You don't hardly see him this close to town. Ogres and kith don't mix well. Ugly bastards, but they're smart enough to know that much. You want to know more? Talk to Rumbald. His farm south of here. We already have. Let's talk about something else. Okay, goodbye. You're another vibrant history. You're Lord Harond. You're a vibrant history. You're a House Harond guard. Man wears Adair-style robes, simple but elegant. His fine leather shoes look like they were made for padding around indoors, yet they're caked with mud. He yanks a locket of hair twined around his silk-gloved finger. His fine features are etched with anxiety.
My child is out there. Do they not understand?
My lord, we're doing everything we can. Unfortunately, these villagers...
Beasts take them all. I don't care how you do it, but find her.
Your child is missing, I take it.
Yes, Lady Alice. My daughter.
Tugs at the fingertips of his
I've asked
gloves.
around, but nobody in this mud hole has any concerns beyond their swine. They turn my men away like beggars and seem downright pleased to be of no use. But you're not one of my soldiers. And you look like you're used to getting your hands dirty, if you don't mind my saying so.
You could say that. I am something of a lord right now, actually. My lord, if you find her, tell her I won't be upset with her. She can come back and all will be well. I just want to make sure my Alice, my child is safe. Nothing in the world is more important to me. I'd like to ask a few questions about your daughter.
Alice. Of course.
Describe Lady Alice. She's a striking young woman, bears more resemblance to her mother than to me. She has auburn hair and delicate, well-bred features. She must be, 28 or 29 now. Tell me about her disappearance. Auburn hair. We'd stopped in Deerford for a few days. On our fourth evening here, I was making plans to continue our journey. Lady Alice was feeling unwell and went to bed. When I retired a couple hours later, I found that she had vanished. None of my men had seen her go. No one at the inn knew where she was. Since then, my people have been combing the village, but we've yet to find a clue, and the locals have been no help. Why did you and Alice... names. Why did you and Alice come to Deerford? It was merely... I'm one to talk about names. I'm playing a character whose name I came up with by rolling an alphabet die. It was merely a stop along the way to Aina's Rest. However, she took ill shortly before our arrival, so it seemed prudent to allow her a few days to recover. What's in Aina's Rest? Ooh, he frowns as if about to protest, but he gives in with a sigh. Lady Alice has reached an age where it is prudent for her to marry. Given this legacy business, I can't let her fertile years slip by, nor do I want her womb to fester in the presence of so many hollowborn. Would seem... Oh, I don't have survival 5. It seems there would be more potential suitors in New Haelmar or New Yarma. You think I haven't considered that? Arranging a suitable match is difficult. Best prospects for my child lay in Aina's Rest. Where's the rest of your family? Surely they wouldn't want to miss your daughter's betrothal. Lady Harond is ill-suited for travel, I'm afraid. And unfortunately, Alice has few other close relatives. My sister and her husband, Alice's aunt and uncle, of course, have been visiting Adair these past months. And as for siblings, Alice has none. My wife has only given birth to Hollowborn, since Alice, that is. I can't do the survival thing. I see, but going back to your daughter. Let's go back to my previous questions. I heard you arguing with...
A petty, small-minded man, just like the rest of them around here. I've been paying him an honest fee for board and bed, and yet he can't be bothered to stir himself to concern for my Alice.
This is why I'm hoping you can help. I should have never trusted these people around my child. Tell me about yourself.
I'm Lord Nestor Harond of Defiance Bay. My family has been prominent there since Imperial times. Our primary estate is on the outskirts of Brackenbury, but we have holdings in New Haelmar as well. Those went to my sister and her husband.
Goodbye. Search Deerford for information about Alice's disappearance. Any weapon, shield, or suit of armor can be enchanted by clicking the enchant button from its description page. The Orlan... Who's that coming up the stairs? The Orlan hovers by the window, peering out of it every few seconds. As you enter the room, she watches you carefully, her hand hovering over her stiletto. She cranes her head to peer at you. There's a lot of people in here. Anyone follow you? Who sent you? Someone told me you're responsible for heinous killings in Defiance Bay? Let me guess. Was that someone named Madreth? It's a lie, plain and simple. I got on the wrong side of his employers. Now he's after me. But if you're here to do his dirty work, I won't make it easy on you. Relax. I just want to hear your side of the story. What story? The Damonels came after me. I just happened to rob the wrong place. How was I supposed to know that they'd already claimed it? She runs her hands under her hood and through her hair. It was an honest mistake. I'm just trying to survive now, and if you spoke of Madref, you know where he's waiting. Please help me out here. Okay, go east. Madref's waiting for you just west of the river. Alright, I'm trusting you. Don't have much choice. See if you can send him the other way. That should buy me some more time. She follows the hooded figures toward the stairs, giving you a final uncertain glance as she passes through the door. Okay. Well, that was easy. Hey, kitty! Vibrant history. Vibrant history. Anything over here?
I can do that.
Yeah, we'll do that. We don't have
That's
to know it.
settled.
We don't have to know it in the party.
A simple
Did I just
test.
steal? Yes, I did.
That's settled.
No, I didn't. It doesn't count as stealing. Interesting. This would. Many Faces of Bareth, Moons of Aora. San Japan. I wish I could do San Japan, but that's in San Antonio, and I'm actually in Japan. Okay, the owner of this is gone. Rise to power. Okay. Well, that was a really quickly finished thing. My timer says it's about to go off, so what we're going to do is I'm going to cancel my timer. I've already done it, in fact. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to talk to our fellow waiting to the east of town and tell him he's heading the other direction. I am not a big fan of crime families. I'm also not a big fan of being lied to. And I guess after that I'll do a video looking into the disappearance of Lady Elise. Elise. And I have a feeling that she is going to have run away, or it's going to have something to do with the crumbled tower. That
Have you
courier.
ever chased a skirt wizard? Or do you...
Don't pawn your personal problems off on me.
They will use you. Cast you off when it suits them. Never speak another word to you.
Maybe they just don't answer to fiery whore.
Good on you, Aloth. I don't like Durods. He's the only cleric I have right now. I suppose I could create my own cleric. It'd be kind of expensive. Aloth does have a story to him, and it is interesting. I just don't like him. He is annoying. Where is this guy?
Gods keep you.
Found Nyfre yet? I'm ready to get out of here. She snuck out the back of the inn and went north. Did she now? And how would you have known that? The innkeeper told me. He said the bed sheets were hanging out the window. Click. She won't get far. You've been most helpful. My employers in House de Monel send their thanks. Let's go. How much XP was that? And why do I have... Oh, it's cutscene. That gave me a lot of XP. Did anybody level? Nope. Okay. So, that's that. That's a quest that's completed without any fighting whatsoever. Talk to you later.